Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It is time for Taroscopes again. Can you believe it? Boy, the months really do fly by, don't they? So today we're going to do the Taroscopes for the sign of Libra for the month of February 2022. So that would include Libra suns, Libra moons, Libra risings, or anybody who just wants to know what's going on with Libra this month. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the astrology, and then we will turn toward the card reading. So we'll start with the astrology. Of course, Libra is a Venus-ruled sign. It is a sign often associated with relating. Not that all Libras are great at relating, they're learning how to relate. And so it is about an awareness of the other. Now, Venus, being your ruling planet, has just turned direct. It turned direct at the end of January. It turned direct at the end of January 29th to be exact. And it is still moving through Capricorn, although it is moving direct now. So things are starting to feel perhaps a little bit more normal for you with your ruling planet moving forward. That ruling planet of Capricorn is moving through your fourth house. And so you've had a lot of reconsideration around family, and your responsibilities to your family and sort of what your family expects from you. One of the things about Libra is they're very sensitive to the expectation of others. And they have a pretty strong sense of duty when it comes to fulfilling other people's expectations, sometimes to the detriment of yourself. So that is something that you need to be aware of. And this Venus moving retrograde through Capricorn has really allowed you to evaluate some of those things. And in that respect, now moving forward on sort of a new appreciation of that. Now, we are going to have a conjunction of Mars and Venus in that fourth house for you. That's happening on, oh, I have the wrong calendar, excuse me. Right calendar. All right, that's going to happen on the 16th. At the same time, we have a full moon in the sign of Leo. And so that full moon in Leo activates your 11th house of friends, the sun being in your 5th house of creative self-expression. There is an awareness around love and personal love. That's the Leo side of things, or the 5th house side of things. And more collective love for humanity, love for your friends, things that are a little less personal and a little bit more impersonal. There'll be awareness around that at the same time as Mars and Venus make a conjunction in Capricorn. And so a new conjunction between Mars and Venus indicates a new cycle of relating. And it's in Capricorn, so it's going to be about who's responsible for what. You know, sometimes Libra takes on the onus of responsibility in relationship, but you also have to learn how to stand up for yourself as well. To really understand the other, you kind of have to understand yourself as well. We do have, so I sort of jumped to the middle of the month. Let's start with the beginning of the month when we have that new moon in Aquarius. And of course, for you, that is your house of creative self-expression, your house of luck, your house of children. And so your creative endeavors, you know, what are you leaving on the planet as your creative legacy, so to speak? We have a new moon there with Aquarius, sun moon, and the sun moon is conjunct Saturn. Now, it's not exactly conjunct Saturn. A few days later, on the 4th, the sun will conjunct Saturn exactly. But because it's a new moon, it's about planting a new seed. Because Saturn is there, it is going to take some effort to get things started, and you're going to have to sort of follow the rules on getting things started. Although Saturn in Aquarius isn't the most ruly of the Saturn positions, there certainly is an awareness of not just how this is going to personally affect you because it's happening in your fifth house. But because it has that Aquarius energy, it really is how it affects you and how it affects the collective. So as a Libra, you understand that nobody does anything alone, and we do need to learn to work together. And so Libras are going to be very busy trying to get people to work together over the next couple of years. But we can do it, and it's necessary. It's necessary. All right, what else is going on? On the 11th, which is a Friday, in February, we have a conjunction between Mercury and Pluto. That is the third of three. We had one at the end of December, we had one in January, and now this last one on the 11th. The reason for that is because Mercury was retrograde. In fact, Mercury is retrograde until the third of the month. So it is a little retrograde in the beginning of the month in Aquarius. Oh, no, actually in Capricorn. And then when it goes direct, it'll go back into Aquarius, go over those points. It is in its shadow for most of the month. So while things will start to move forward with Mercury, it's not going to be as smooth a sailing as, say, it's going to be in March, when when it's moved out of its shadow. But still, you will have forward progress with things. And, for a while there, we had Venus and Mercury retrograde. And of course, Venus is your ruling planet, and Mercury is how we communicate. So it's possible there have been quite a few misunderstandings. But as things start to move forward and as things start to clear up, I think those misunderstandings will change into lessons and understanding. So misunderstandings turn into understanding about situations and people, and maybe how the next time you would do it differently, or the next time you would do it the same, but stick to your guns a little bit more, whatever it happens to be. That conjunction between Mercury and Pluto is occurring again in that fourth house. So really deep thinking about the issues of the fourth house, parenting, how you were parented, your growing up years, your childhood, your soul's journey, your soul's purpose. The fourth house is also the house of soul. It's also the house of endings. And so you might have had to, all the water houses to a certain extent are houses of endings. And there's always an emotional energy to endings, right? And a feeling, like, how's this making me feel kind of thing. And then because for you, all those houses that are associated with our feeling nature are generally ruled by earth signs. When you have a Libra ascendant, at least, there's always a practical consideration too. It's not just about the feelings, but it's about the feelings and the practical considerations that those feelings engender, change, right? So it's never just about the feelings, but it's also what are you going to do about those feelings to try to keep stabilized through the different levels of feelings that you're going to have. Okay, what else is going on here? I talked about the full moon. There's not a whole lot going on in February, but we are in the United States anyway, having the first hit of our Pluto return. And so things are going to feel a little bit maybe more challenging, especially if you happen to have your Libra at the last degrees of Libra. And of course, Pluto is in the last degrees of Capricorn, squaring that Libra. So this is not new for you. It's definitely challenging and requiring you to take some action when it comes to your sense of power or empowerment or disempowerment. We do have at the end of the last week, we have a couple of things. We have a supportive connection between Mars and Neptune, and a supportive connection between Venus and Neptune. Now, because Venus and Mars make that conjunction on that full moon day on the 16th, they sort of move together. Venus is moving very slowly because she's just out of retrograde. So she's sort of moving at the same pace as Mars. So what's happening to Mars is happening to Venus. What's happening to Venus is happening to Mars. And what's happening to them is they're having a sextile to Neptune. Now, this sextile is a mentally stimulating aspect. It has the word sex in it, so we know it's good. And sextiles can either have the energy of Gemini or the energy of Aquarius. The difference is Gemini is more curious. It's more about seeking knowledge, and Aquarius is about knowing stuff. And this is an Aquarius sextile. And so, and also Neptune is the energy of source, the energy of compassion, the energy of oneness. So there's a commonality of experience for all of us, and we come to understand that we are not alone in this, but we are all connected in ways. And so we need to practice compassion, and we have to understand, which is something I think Libras do understand, but not everybody else may, is that, you know, what affects me affects you. What affects you affects me. And you're not, no person is an island. We all have to learn how to interact and get along and relate. And we're just in such, most people are in such a jumble and mumble of fear and loathing that it's really hard. Even people who you would normally feel very connected to, you can feel disconnected for whatever reason. They don't agree with you politically, they don't agree with you medically, they just, you know, or they're just struggling themselves. And so we're all trying to find our feet again. And it's going to take a lot of understanding. And of course, Libras, you're very understanding. So I'm not too worried about you, actually, even though you might be slightly worried about yourself. We also have on the 25th, we have a conjunction between Mars and Vesta. Vesta is an asteroid, and it is associated with what we devote ourselves to. There's a lot of focus with Vesta, but it's like truly like, it's almost like religious experience focus. And with Mars there, we can see that religious focus, as it were. And it is in Capricorn, so there can be some patriarchal overtones to that. But beyond that, it's really about focusing on that which sustains your sense of authority in your life. You know who you are, you know your experiences in life, you know what you've learned from them. You know, no one's going to really convince you otherwise with this aspect, but it is a good starting point for an ability to sort of move out and put the energy into it's actually a good time for devotional practice. It's happening in your fourth house, so devotional practice to your soul, but also, you know, maybe some devotional stuff in your home, something that will bring peace, some like a, you know, just doing something over and over again, whether it's giving yourself 15 minutes of meditation in the morning, or, you know, getting in the habit of like walking through the woods or doing mantras or whatever it is. You want to just get into that like sort of flow of focusing on that which is going to empower your sense of stability on planet Earth, because that fourth house is the house where we plant our feet on planet Earth. So, all right, guys, wonderful. Let's take a look at the tarot. And I have a whole bunch of decks. What did I do with them? Where are they? Okay. I'm going to use, I have them right in front of me. I couldn't find them. I had a napkin on them. All right. I'm going to use my witch's deck. This is one of my oldest decks. I've had it for, in fact, this is like my third witch's deck because I used to go through them so quickly. So it's a little worn and torn, but, you know, well loved. So what's in store? Oh, goodness gracious. Look at this. Oh, so excuse me a second. Of course, I dropped one. What's in store for Libra? This is the card that fell out, the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands. This is a focused mind, a focused mind. So what is in store for Libra, Libra Sun, Libra Moon, Libra Rising for the month of February 2022? What do we need to be aware of? What is coming up for us? Now, these cards are read a little bit differently, and if it comes up, I will explain that to you. They are tarot cards, and you can use them any way you like, but there is a little bit of a different vibe to these First of all, in this deck, the fire is connoted by swords, which in other decks it's usually fire is the wands. So that is a little different in this deck. But let's see what's coming up. Let's see what we have going on. What's going on? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Almost ready. I shuffle until it feels right. Some people do 7, some people do 3, some people just, whatever feels right. All right, it feels right. All right, let's see what's going on. Oops. We start with the Princess of Swords. The Princess of Swords. So I said this deck works a little differently than other decks. And so I will show you, because the first card to come up is the Princess of Swords. Now, in this deck, the princess is the manifestation of whatever it is that is symbolic by the element we're dealing with. And we're dealing with swords, and in this case, it's fire. So something has manifested, and it has to do with something spiritual. Now, what is that? Well, we take the next card and we use that as what has been manifested. I'm not sure you understand what I just did, but I'll just read it just to tell you what this says. So what this says is that you are about to give birth to something that you have worked on. It's something spiritual, but it has a physical manifested component. You are pregnant with possibility here, and it's just about ready to be born. So you've done everything that you can do to move it along. And right now you're at that place where something is just about ready to be born. And what's challenging that? We have the 8 of Pentacles here. This is the 8, right? Oh, sorry, the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of, I guess I could have counted Pentacles, right? So what's challenging this? Well, the 7 of Pentacles is, and again, we see that this person has these things that have been created, these statues. This is very creative, but it's not quite ready. It's not quite ready for the big show, right? The big art show. And so what's challenging you is perhaps you have a little anxiety about, like, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? Like, you're like this, you're not quite ready, but you can hardly wait. It's now I haven't had children, so I have not given birth to a child, but I have friends who have, right? And I remember them talking, like, right at the end, they're like, oh, I can't wait for this baby to be born. It's like you're kind of scared, and you're kind of like, oh my God, is it going to hurt? Like, especially if it's your first one. Well, let me tell you, it's going to hurt. But how much is it going to hurt? Maybe that's the question you ask. But then there comes a point where you're like, I'm tired of carrying this around. I have to give birth to this. So there's this energy of wanting to give birth to something, and yet being a little anxious about how much it's going to hurt. Let's see what's at the root of this. Justice. This is the Libra card. Isn't that interesting? So there's this energy of justice. There's an energy of things finally sort of evening out for you. And so this could be a legal issue that is just about ready to happen, and you're just a little anxious about whether or not it's going to happen the way you want it to happen. At this point, it's out of your hands. What's going to happen is going to happen. But it is based on balance. It is based on balancing something out. So it's almost as if no matter what else you did, it wouldn't make a difference, because it's about balancing the scales. Let's see what's in the past. We have the Prince of Cups, or the Knight of Cups here on the road. So this is the past. This is an emotion, a feeling that is on its way, but it's in the past. So let's see what that feeling was about. to get a little more elucidation. Ah, you had a great idea. You had a great idea. And it was an idea that came from an awareness. The threes are all associated with the divine feminine. So there could be a connection to the divine feminine. We have the three faces of the mother, maiden, crone here. And this coming together, this idea, this sort of birth of light. And your emotions about it, sort of coming. What I want to say is an emotional journey. It's been a very emotional journey to manifest whatever it is that's been manifested here. 3 is always about manifestation. In the sky, we have the Princess of Wands. This is fire energy. This is air energy in this deck. So this is ideas. So the idea, it's an idea that whose time has come, as they say. Let's see what's connected to that. And another pregnancy card. There are 2 pregnancy cards in this deck, and you got both of them. So this is really like, it's here. It's here. You've worked hard. You've done your due diligence. It's here. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. And there it is, manifested. So whatever you've been working on will be manifested through the month of February. It's going to manifest now. It's a new beginning, a new start, and it's something on the physical plane. How exciting. How it's seen from the outside. People see you doing it, getting the manifestation on the road, and they see it as something that you truly believe in, that you truly love, and that's taken a lot of strength. So whatever it is that you're manifesting has taken a lot of strength and a lot of aplomb and a lot of spiritual chutzpah. Ooh, you got to let me know what this is about. In the domestic situation, we have death. Death is, sometimes death, but in this case, I feel it's change. Things are changing. If I remember correctly, because I don't always remember what I say in these readings, I'd have to go back and look to see what I said, and I don't always have the time to do that. But I know that there was a point where Libra was really had to stand up for themselves. There was some things that just were not right, and you had no choice but to make the decisions and the choices that you made. And what that's engendered, or what that has done, is it helped you move through whatever domestic situation you needed to say goodbye to. Hopes and fears, happiness. Well, we're not fearing that, are we? Happiness, getting my wishes. At the end, this is the outcome. We have the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is about taking the first step on, and this is an action step. This is all about action steps, taking an action step on something spiritual. So it's almost like there's something new coming in. You have this grand manifestation, and then what's the next thing? What's the next thing? There's a sense of being at, you want to do something, but you feel like you're at the sides are even. The sides are even, and you may not want to do anything yet. Let's see if we can pull some more and get some elucidation. 10 of Cups. I mean, 10 of Pentacles. Family, stability. Let me just keep going and see if I can get the Tower. I feel like illumination. You want to do something else. You want to, so we have good news here. Something manifests. And then there's something that you're thinking about. And it's sort of, there's an energy of wanting to confront, but knowing that a confrontation, and I believe the confrontation is around inheritance in this case. And what that will do, it will blow things up. It will illuminate something. Now, the choice is yours if you want to do that. It's not saying that you have to, but there's an inkling. There's like this, like the almost like the next step. And underneath it, we have the Hanged Man, we have the King of Swords, and then we have the Six of Cups, which is a celebratory card. Before you take another step, this is what I want to say about this reading. Before you take another step, I think it's important that you enjoy the moment. It's been hard fought and hard earned, and you don't have to push it any further. In fact, I think the cards are saying, don't allow this success to influence you to think that everything that you're going to do is a success. Enjoy the success that you have. Enjoy what it is that you're given birth to. I would wait on taking any further action in any direction and just allow yourself to enjoy it. Sometimes we get addicted to the crisis and to the fight. And especially if you win, you're like, oh, what's the next thing I'm going to take on? And we forget to just enjoy what we have. And I think that you need to stop and enjoy what you have, because it has been very challenging, and it has been, don't let somebody else too. This could also be don't let somebody else goad you into anything you don't want to do. If you want to just enjoy the fruits of your labor, and that labor, I mean, there are two pregnant ladies here. That's labor. That's hard labor, right? Then do it. Then enjoy the fruits of your labor. There's no need to push anything further, at least not in February. So, all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe. If you would like a reading with me, you could go to my website, thesiegeoftransformation.com. I have a few different types of readings that I do. I do astrology, I do Kabbalah, numerology. I do a combination of those things. You can either get an hour reading, or you can get a 90-minute reading. If you're interested in things like transits to your chart and what's coming up, and you've already had a reading with me, and you've had that like basic 90-minute astrology Kabbalah reading, you could do an hour just to see what's coming up for you this year. And I also have some classes going on now. I have a beginner's class that's in process. This is actually their second portion of the beginner's class. I have an intermediate class on transits and planetary returns. That's going to start on the 25th, so that's next Saturday if you're interested in that. Intermediate means you have an understanding of the houses and the signs and the aspects and the planets. Basic knowledge. You just really need basic knowledge to get anything out of the intermediate class. But by no means do you have to be an expert to learn something in the intermediate classes. And I also have a Tuesday night astrology salon where we hang out, we talk about current events, current astrological things, and how they're manifesting in the people who are in the classes' lives, and also how it's manifesting out in the outer world. So that's always fun. And, as long as you're a little conversant in astrology, you'll get something out of it. So, all right, have yourself a great month. Like, subscribe, as I said already. And I'll see you next month for the Taroscopes of March. Take care, everyone. Namaste. And congratulations.